EQLA stories. I
Yeah, are we
guess.
gonna make that our secondary topic tonight?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna go there.
Do it.
So, well, first of all, I don't think we introduced to the audience what I do.
Oh yeah, Silver Eagle.
yeah.
He's kind of our boss now.
No, but not in any functional
Suddenly,
way.
I must
at
hate
all.
you for that.
Suddenly I'm cramping your
Hoof-hearted.
style.
Nobody's our boss.
Some of your hoof-hearted. Hoof-hearted? Everybody did. Yeah, I'm the director of Ponyville Live. But Ponyville Live, besides being your home for pony radio, video, and podcast, is also a convention coverage organization. Like, we go out and we cover conventions and we record them. And we do it 100% free of charge to all of the conventions that we've ever covered. So we've covered a few dozen now, like getting up on 30 different conventions. And we've done that free every single time. And we do all the archival footage and stuff. We do it just because we really love being a service to the fans and delivering a nice quality service to them. So this year, what we heard from EQLA was that the convention was not going to be recording or streaming because in order to keep a family-friendly environment, in order to appeal to all ages and all generations of pony, which includes G3, G2, G1, and would attract people like Bonnie Zachary and all this kind of stuff, and all ages, that catering specifically to a brony market would alienate the rest of those people and may even creep out some of the parents. So this is kind of a new one for us. I've never heard this before. I've never heard any convention actually tell us that we may be too creepy to be at the convention. That's kind of it's novel to me. And so I thought that doesn't add up. That doesn't surely that's not what they actually think. But sure enough, it came back. The PVL crew reported back to me, and they said, yeah, that's the final word.
Believe that.
That's the final word back from them. This is why we're not recording. And all right, fine. So we see tweets come out from EQLA because, of course, we're following a bunch of people who are there, and I start to see these tweets pop up, and it's all these pictures of the room that's full of people, and right in the middle of it is a tripod and a camera. And I look at it, and my first thought is,
the potato.
That must be a nothing. That must not be a camera, because surely they wouldn't be recording and say they're not.
There's also one more thing I need to add to this.
Chillins.
Is that the majority of the people on the upper echelons of the convention staff are part of the former Everfree network.
Yeah, those of you who haven't been around all that long in the fandom, the Everfree Network. Those of you just joining into the world of media war will know that, or should know that the Everfree Network was once our former rivals. We competed essentially in the convention coverage world, even though the way I always saw it was not the same. Like I always looked at it as if two groups covered a single convention, that was fine, because redundancy is a good thing. Like, because I'm an engineer, I'm a web developer, and so
it makes sense.
I think, redundancy is good, because what if we screw up our footage? Well, then somebody else has got it, and so every panel gets recorded by two people. That's double the chance that it'll come out okay. And I've always been a firm believer in that concept. Like, I don't understand why you wouldn't be a firm believer, unless, of course, it costs you money to bring in both of these groups. And in which case, yeah, I can probably see it. But otherwise, in our case, it definitely didn't cost any money to bring us in. And so I thought, yeah, why not? Why not just let us show up and do our thing? Because the worst that's going to happen is that you don't end up having to use our footage, and everything that everybody else got was good and perfect. But that never happens. It absolutely never happens that 100% of footage, not even from us. Like 100% of PVL footage is good? No, because we screw up too. Because we're just imperfect, and we're volunteers. So what do you expect? But also, anyway, so the way I saw it, and this is my little conspiracy theorist going off behind the scenes, is after a comment was made on Twitter that said from the head of PR for EQLA, that said, if you've hurt me in the past, don't expect me to be of service to you now.
I responded to that. I remember that.
I remember you responded to that. I saw that. So did I, and I ended up deleting it later because I felt like it was a little spur of the moment and itchy trigger finger of me. But also, I don't know. To me, it just seemed like that was the antithesis of professionalism. Right, like professionalism is to leave.
Professional.
To
Why
leave.
Don't we look at everything else Kiniro did. That was so.
But I think the thing is, as much as because everything else could be just explained away by a conspiracy theory. Everybody could say, "Oh, you just think you're being persecuted, but you're not really," and everything has a logical explanation. You just don't know what it is. And that's easy to say about all this other stuff. But then we have this quote right in front of us that says, if you've hurt me in the past, don't expect me to be of use to you now. And it's like, oh, that's an actual explanation of what really happened. Like, this is somebody actually saying, hey, by the way, the thing I just said on Twitter, that explains your situation. That's why we didn't approach you or invite you. And yeah, in my position... and we've had, PVL has had people who are staff at conventions too, and I'm staff at Nightmare Nights, Dallas. But even in that position, I would never in my life entertain the idea of telling my rival group they can't show up at the convention. Because, this is a convention run by adults. And so no Nightmare Nights is absolutely is run by adults. It's run by
I thought you were talking about EQLA.
No, but Nightmare Nights is, if I tried
convention that we actually thought of going to last minute.
it's a respectable convention. If I were to try to even throw that idea out, they would throw me out the door first. They'd say, no, you obviously are letting your biases get to you, you're letting your past experiences get to you, and you can't do your job, so get the hell out. That'd be the first thing they said. So, why was that not the first thing that they told Kiniro?
Well, that's because their con chair was also
was on board with this. Was actually supporting.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but I did a little snooping through her. She is also a member of My Little Pony Arena, which is a classic generation collectors board. And there were a lot of posts on I'll be there on behalf recording for Everfree Network. Insert convention here for I'll be there. So, very active role.
Oh, sure. Yeah, and also one of the lead editors for EFN News back when that was a thing. And you follow the money, right? Like you can tell where this goes, but the response we heard back from the convention was nothing other than Kiniro's tweets. But then I heard a response back from a staff member of the convention, and I won't name them out of what little respect I have left. And they said, you're completely wrong. You and Horse News, because Horse News published this article about why they didn't get to cover the convention either. It's the same reason, pretty much. Is they just got kind of the short end of the stick, and they got snubbed, really. And so this article comes out, and then I post my thing saying, yeah, I think my thing is the same situation, and they say, no, you're completely wrong. And I said, oh, tell me why I'm wrong. I'm if there's some really good reason for this, then seriously, tell me, because I will drop it right here and now. I'll bury the hatchet. I have no problem with that. They said, well, you're wrong, but we're under NDA, and so we can't tell you why you're wrong.
What purpose would such an NDA serve?
I said, wait, hold on. I know you'd be under an NDA to talk about contracts with the guests of honor, but I'm not asking you to.
Yeah, why would an
say
NDA
that.
exist for this?
Why would an NDA apply to the behavior of your staff? Are you under an NDA about talking about why your PR person does things?
This isn't the CIA. This is a My Little Pony convention.
This is exactly what I
Tiny
said.
horses are serious business scores.
I said this isn't the NSA. This isn't something where can you not just explain why it is that we're wrong? They said no, and we've instructed, and I'm literally quoting here, we've instructed our entire staff not to respond to you.
Wow.
What?
And I said,
That is absurd.
that's a great way of making sure that this situation gets resolved. That's absolutely great. Like, this is the best public relations situational management I've ever seen.
Yeah,
I know.
We'll get into more of
yeah.
that later.
So anyway, so we'll never hear anything. They've been officially gag ordered by the convention to never speak to us about this incident and never explain the real origins of the situation to us. And so, no, all we have to go on are the public tweets of the PR guy, and those are a really bad thing to go on. So, I don't know. What conclusion would you reach in my situation?
Well, we can talk about our experience as media, which, by the way, I'm just going to say again, I'm just going to talk about the process leading up to it. And I can also talk about, was it you that went like, holy shit, who's this person who's like multitasking at this convention?
Oh, because the vendor, the panelist.
Okay.
Yes, that was me. Yeah, that was me. I saw somebody with a GM Barrow mask on.
Which was me.
And they were wearing a badge that said, vendor, panelist, press, or media.
Yeah.
And I thought, who the hell? I don't know anybody in the media who's also a vendor and a panelist. I mean, vendor...
That would be me.
If it was media and panelist, I would think, it's Final Draft or something.
Final Draft is not a woman as far as we know.
Yeah, I was going to say the figure doesn't quite match, but at the same time, no offense to him, right? Or you, I guess. I don't. Anyway.
I'm a twig and I've accepted this.
But yeah, no, I thought that was.
But so from what we were told about, I'm just going to start with vendors because that's kind of vendors and panels because that's what I know. Panels were opened, I want to say like mid-July. Like the applications were opened mid-July, and I sent in the application, and before this, like, I think right after BabsCon, I tweeted something out like, is Read It and Weep, the bad fanfiction reading I do at every single California Pony Convention, is that coming to Equestria LA? Like, it might be. Equestria LA retweeted and favorited that. So, okay, then they're showing interest. So I submitted the application, and then waited a shit ton of time. And I think... the schedule was put up approximately 2 weeks before the convention. And we found out that every time I submit the Bad Fanfiction Reading panel, I always ask for a late night slot. And there is a reason for that. I cannot control what other people say. And most likely, when faced with a terrible fanfiction, they're going to say very vulgar things about it. And probably some four-lettered words that Grunkle Stan would want to teach children.
Children.
So I always say this is a 16-plus panel. Put me at a really late slot, like 10 o'clock at night. All the kids are in bed. They're not going to wander in and learn some new words to share with mommy and daddy, which I'm going to get in trouble for. Everybody wins. So... Babs has obliged that. They have put me at about 10:30 on a Friday night, and they also put me at I think they put me at 11 at one point on a Saturday night.
Nice.
So they obliged. You had people come in late at night, and it's still early in the convention, so they're super excited, and they're super excited about reading stupid crap, and it's a really great time for everybody. So finally, I get the panel schedule. 2 weeks before the convention, by the way, and I have to say that me and TG, the co-panelist, are very lucky in that we've done this before, so we know exactly what we're doing, and it's a very minimalist panel. I feel bad for the people who didn't know if they were in or not and had to come up with a panel in 2 weeks. So we got our time slot, which was 2:30 in the afternoon on Sunday. 2:30 in the afternoon on Sunday is when everybody's leaving. So understand, I'm kind of like, okay, kind of mad. Not the worst thing that's happened, though. Vendor is more bullshit. Still kind of mad. But then later on, I think the day after we get our time slot, or 2 or 3 days, like something like that, we get an email from the head of panels, which I believe it's Kaniro that was doing the panels. He said, hey, like, we're planning something really big, and we're looking for someone to volunteer to give up their panel time on Sunday and be moved to 9 o'clock in the morning. To give you an idea of who was awake at 9 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday at any convention ever, staff and
nobody.
Staff and vendors. That is it. And I guarantee you, they're not going to be at a panel unless they're required to be there.
Yeah. Nobody who's going to enjoy a bad fanfiction reading
at 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm running it and I wouldn't enjoy it at 9 o'clock in the morning. Are you kidding me? So, they also mentioned that this was a first come, first serve thing. So if you were the last guy to reply to that email, you were shit out of luck.
Oof.
Thankfully, I responded to this email at like 1:30 in the morning because it goes directly to my phone. Yes.
Hold the fuck up. So the way they dealt with getting somebody to give up a space for the panel is 1, 2, 3, not it.
Pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah.
It was
professionalism.
And to make it even worse, the way that panels were put together, I'll get into this later, but the way the panel schedule is put together. So we got our time moved anyway, and by the way, the big thing that they were announcing was Lauren Foss showing up. Which she didn't appear on Sunday, I don't think, which makes no sense why they were rearranging Sunday. I don't even know.
Okay.
So we got moved to 12:45. In the history of bad fanfiction reading, which is run twice at BabsCon, both years they've run, I've only had to institute one rule. One singular rule. Don't block the doors. That is the only rule I have ever instituted. And it's because the hotel will get upset, which means the convention will get upset, which means they'll get upset with me, and everybody doesn't have fun.
Sure.
This is the first time I've had to put a mind your language rule, and I hate doing that. I hate doing that because it dampens everybody's fun. It makes me look like fun police. And if you've heard me on this podcast, you know I don't hold anything back either, which means I have to sit there and consciously go, okay, I'm about to use a 4-letter... No, what's the other 4-letter word I could use in this? It's not fun. And the way that panels were selected, according to a guy that we were talking to, was basically the convention equivalent of picking a kickball team.
Professionalism.
Yeah,
no, so the guy coming up with the schedule picked the panels that he liked the best and put them first, and then space fillers, he just picked whichever ones he thought would be okay. So basically, we were the out of shape nerdy kids that got picked last for the kickball team.
Oh, that made it worse when we actually did the meeting.
And we did put on the panel, by the way, and I don't think anybody recorded. I know someone got photos and put it up on their Twitter, but nobody recorded it, as far as I know. And let me describe the energy in this audience. The energy in this audience was equivalent to a necrophile's date.
They were zombies.
A necrophile's date would have more life than this audience. And I'm not blaming the people who showed up, by the way.
I am.
The one thing that threw us off was that we had a lot more, I would say, early teens kids show up.
That is true, yes.
Which is really strange, given the last fanfic that we did, which, by the way, we had to take stuff out of that fanfic in order to bring it in. There is one chapter where Twilight Sparkle grows a dick for the protagonist that we had to remove.
Oh my god.
So that fanfic, we had a bit more of a lively crowd, and we were able to bring it to a more mature audience. This one, we had to bring a more G-rated one that was more benignly dumb. And the energy just wasn't there. And part of the fun of bad fanfiction reading is that you give up all sense of looking smart, and you just embrace the fact that you sound and look like a moron. It's basically trying to get over your anxiety for an improv class. It's pretty much what it is. And that's what's so great about it. Everyone's having a good time and they don't care how dumb they look. And that wasn't the experience with Equestria LA. And it was kind of a bummer. Is it going to stop us from running this panel? No, we're coming back to BabsCon, obviously. Or at least I'm going to put a submission to BabsCon. But But I'm highly doubtful I'm going to come back to Equestria LA for the media reasons that they're going to go over later. For the panel reasons I've just outlined, the vendor reasons, which I will go after the media reasons because I've talked too long. Go.
Well, who wants to start for the media
I feel
reasons?
like TG does the best telling of this story.
We'll start from the very beginning. A very good place to start.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Let's start off the application.
I'm probably the best one to handle.
And be sure to mention the contract, because the contract is special.
All right, so
That's a one for it.
so yeah, we started doing press at Babs this year. It was a great experience. They handle press very well there, and yeah, we got excited because we saw EQLA coming up. We're like, let's go for press again. It'll be a blast. And so we wait, and we wait,
and
we wait, and soon enough, it's about like a month and a half before the convention. We have asked about where the hell are media applications? You know, like, is there going to be media applications several times now? And they don't respond. Batter will give you the always wonderful soon.
Yes, the Blizzard suit.
Exactly.
Soon
Blizzard
trademark,
soon.
yeah. Valve time soon.
So, yeah, so it's like,
Valve
okay,
please.
yeah. And finally, like, about a month before the con, finally they announce, okay, we're gonna start doing media applications, email me. And so we do, and then I think finally, like a few days later, this is about a month before the con now, they send us the link for the forum for press. It is so bare bones. It is literally just a page with a text box on it saying, why do you believe you should be press? Like, there's no extra boxes possibly like laying out qualifications or anything like that. It's as simple as you can get. They come back a few days later, they say we're press. We're like, okay, they give us this media contract, which we have to abide by, and we look through it. And holy shit, is it underwhelming. It ends
that is a contract with air quotes, by the way.
Yeah, it is a one-page Word doc in 12-point font.
Arial bold, 12-point font, one page.
With
Yes.
the most basic of press guidelines to follow. And compare this to Babs, who they had their press policy first off online on their website, which is a great move. And in addition to that, about a couple days before the con, they also sent every press group a media survival guide, which was a multiple-page document giving you tips about, you know, the best way to handle this, how you should act, how this footage should be used both during and after the con, and it's great. They're really hands-on and helpful. And, of course, EQLA provides none of this because they seem to not give any shits about the media. And, yeah, they don't.
They are the media.
Yeah. And so that finally takes us to the con itself. And, oh, well, you know what? Actually, no, it doesn't. When they send us the press acceptance letter, they're like, okay, so you're press now. Good luck getting interviews on your own.
Like, what?
You'll be setting them up on your own. You have to contact each of our agents separately. You can't contact the people themselves, by the way. So have fun trying to get interviews. By the
And
way,
they don't tell you where the agents are or point you in a general direction.
Oh, no.
It's like, you got Google, right? Which actually, I'm not even exaggerating. Kinero says as much on his Twitter after people start complaining.
Right. And it's just, it's so hands-off, and it's so, like, really? You're not only making us schedule our own interviews, but you're not even giving us a place to do them, which is why we ended up using the Loud Hotel Bar. If you've watched our interviews, by the way, that's the reason behind it. We had no place to do interviews given to us by the convention. Again, fucking professional. And, yeah, that was just really, really wonderful leading up to the con, which takes us to, yeah, TG, take it away the rest of the way. Tell 'em what
Okay.
happened.
So, leading up to the con, like, 2 weeks beforehand, Greg is setting up interviews with people, you know, emailing the ones who have emails on their site, Twittering those who don't, Twittering is now a verb. I am establishing this.
Tweeting.
No, he's twittering them.
Yeah. Okay, I'll cut in one last time, by the way. I pointed out the fact that, they don't let you contact guests directly, and they tell you to contact talent agents. A lot of the guests they invited don't have talent agents, and in many cases, for GM Barrow comes to mind, she only has a Twitter. The only way to contact her is to message her on Twitter.
Yeah.
That's how we got the interview with her. So, your press policy is flawed right off the bat right there by saying, making that a requirement. Because if you want interviews with people, you can't abide by that. It's just not going to happen otherwise you're just not going to get interviews, so...
Unless you're already connected with these
Right,
people.
unless you're, super connected and you've, I've got GM Barrow's phone number, which, no.
Which the only people who are, sorry to interject, are convention heads.
Right.
Yeah, that's the thing, is the general public, even the press, even us, when we went and we thought about this, because, of course, the response we got back on Twitter after this, which was, people said, you can just Google all this stuff. Well, first of all, we went ahead and Googled everybody's representation. It turns out it's actually insanely hard to find who represents some people because they don't list it on their website, they don't list it on their Twitter, they don't list it anywhere. In fact, had we not asked the convention,
it's like they value their privacy or something.
But especially with their with the unrepresented people, absolutely. They won't list any public contact info because they'll get hounded all the time by fans saying, "Can you read my fan fiction? Can you tell me?" And they can't. They can't. The answer is no already ahead of time. But with the people with agents, even the agents' websites will list the people they represent, but it's out of date. And there's this other nice little thing, which is for interviews, some people are represented by one person, and then they're represented by another one for conventions. And then they're represented by another one for talent. So for talent
basically, this information is of zero help.
Exactly. And how we got it was that I remembered, that IMDb Pro shows you agent info.
Yes.
So Greg had to sign up for a trial of it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's just it. Is we have one buddy who's a big media guy, both in and out of Horse, and he's got an IMDb Pro subscription, and so anybody we had to fill in the gaps. So what resulted out of this? Sorry to continue and to
it's good.
To derail a little bit, but
no, derailing's fine in this section.
It's relevant. But what happened in light of this, because of the fact that EQLA said, "We'll contact the agents and just work with them directly," which is I believe the wrong thing for a convention to do in the first place. But the podcasts in general and media outlets in general were very unprepared for that, and were left in the dark and had no idea what to do, and so. What all the big media outlets and some of the big conventions have done is put together this master spreadsheet of all the agents' contact info for these podcasts. And the reason we did that, or if not for these, yes, for podcasts, but for all of these voice actors, all the writers, all the IDW people, every bit of public contact info that's available for them out in the world. Had we not worked with convention people, we would not have 90% of that, because it was only the convention people that knew who to talk to. And so, this idea of, if you're the press, just go email the agents directly, this idea works fine if it was run the way that EQLA ran in 2012 and 2013. In 2013, Karen Padilla, the former founder and chair of EQLA, she sent every media outlet who wanted to do interviews a list of the people at the convention, who their agents were, and what their email address was. And then said, contact the agents directly. That's one of the possible correct things to do. Right. There are two options. Either you manage the interviews yourself, or you give all of your press the contacts to do it themselves. One of those two options are correct, but you cannot get this best of both worlds thing where it's really the worst of both worlds, where you say, we're not going to manage interviews for you, but you also can't have the agent's contact info to do it yourself. Then you're just saying, no, we just don't like the media.
Yeah, you're up shit creek without a paddle.
You're leaving people in a absolutely unwinnable situation, the only way out is to break the rules and to directly contact the staff, and ask them for interviews and stuff. And you're not really supposed to do that. And so it's like...
And it's not like we don't want to break the rules. It's just
nobody
it's the only option available to us.
But you have to function as an outlet.
Right.
And if you didn't, no one would have. And we would have missed a lot of stuff from this convention. The odds are already pretty high that we're going to miss a lot of really potentially awesome stuff coming out of this convention. The footage will not make it out in one piece. It may be edited. It may be, because when the convention controls it, they control the signal. And that means it's up to them to
control
process
the horizontal and the vertical.
And the vertical, yeah. So, all that to say, there's a silver lining to that media policy of you need to contact the agents, but you can't. In that now we're prepared for that. Should that happen again, we're prepared for that. But that this is far and away to me one of the most illogical and obviously born of some meshing of incompetence and malice.
Spite. Yeah.
Spite. Yeah, it's either spite or incompetence or some combination of both.
We still managed to get those interviews, though, despite all this, amazingly.
Somehow. So, yep. Good thing that you did, though.
Gotta do what you gotta do. But, yeah, I think that wraps up what I had to say about it. So, TG, you may continue with the story of what happened at the con.
Yeah, so, like I said, Greg contacted people, set stuff up. We had 4 people lined up. We had M.A. Larson on Friday. We had Amy Keating-Rogers on Saturday. We had Tina Guo on Sunday. And we had GM Barrow, who just said, meet me at the con and we'll set up a time. Whenever I'm free, just see me there and I'll be happy to do it. So those are the 4 we have set up. So... Friday, M.A. Larson goes great. Saturday, we run into GM Barrow around lunchtime, and we go up and talk to her, and we're like, hey, we're the people who contacted you for the interview. When do you want to do it? And she goes, I have an autograph session in like 15 minutes. Once that's over, I'll be happy to. I'll meet you wherever, and we set it all up. As we're walking away, we realize... oh crap, that's the exact same time as our Amy Keating-Rogers interview. So we go up to the autograph room, go talk to her, and we're like, hey, we realize that conflicts with our Amy Keating-Rogers interview. Do you want to change it? And she goes, no, it's fine, I'll just do it right after you do Amy Keating-Rogers. It'll work out fine. And we're like, great, we'll see you then. So... time passes, we get set up for Amy Keating-Rogers. Barrow shows up first, we chat for a bit, we're just talking, we're setting everything up, we're good to go, and we're like, Amy Keating-Rogers still isn't here, maybe we have time to squeeze you in first. And right before we start, Amy Keating-Rogers shows up, and we're like, oh, okay, well, Amy has to be somewhere in half an hour, so we'll do hers first like we planned. So we're getting ready to start. GM Barrow's like, alright, I'm going to run for just a little bit. I'll be back once you're done with Amy, and then we'll do mine. And we're like, great, we'll see you then. We do the Rogers interview. That goes awesome, too. And then we wait.
And wait.
And then we wait some more. And we're waiting for, like 45 minutes-ish, maybe a little less. And we're like, this is really weird. She's really friendly and nice. She said she'd be back. We know she wouldn't intentionally blow us off or something. Something must have happened. I wonder what's going on. Let's go see if ConOps can help us. And that was our big mistake.
Yep. It was my big mistake.
Yeah, so
I suggested it.
I thought I suggested it, but whatever, it doesn't matter.
Well, it's a good idea. We just
it was a good idea.
Happened, hindsight.
I mean, yeah, it seems like a reasonable solution.
It does seem like a reasonable solution, except not at this con. At this con, anything reasonable is the worst.
This is the point where what happens is just stuff that I've experienced. So I go up there, I I explained to them, hey, we scheduled an interview with GM Barrow, and she's a little late, so we just want to know if you can get in contact with her and make sure everything's okay. And the person at the front desk was like, okay, I'll try and talk to a VIP, the PR relations people about it.
Viper.
And then I stand there for about like 15 minutes waiting, and then they come back and she's like, yeah, we don't have any solid contact. We'll get back to you in a little bit. I'm like, you know what? I'll just tell you where we're going to be so you can pass it along, and was that okay? And she's like, yeah, we'll get into contact with you. So I thank them and I head back downstairs. This is where it starts to be a mistake.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gone well so far.
Yeah, so Treebeard comes back, he tells us what they said, and so we sit there. And we sit for maybe 5 minutes before the VIP relations people show up. And they start grilling us super hard about, who said we could do interviews, who did we arrange the interview with, all this stuff. They asked us who said we can do interviews, and we're like, Casey did, and they're like, who did you set this up with? And we're like, we set it up with GM Barrow herself, she said she'd be happy to do it. And they're like, well, they're not contractually obligated to do interviews. And we're like, we know they're not contractually obligated, but she said she would do it. She said she'd be happy to. And they're like, okay, but they're not contractually obligated. And we're like, we know that. We know they're not obligated to do it. And they're like, okay, just stop being so defensive. And we're like, we're not being defensive. We're just saying we know. And they're like, okay, but just they're not obligated to do it. And we're like, we know.
Yeah, that goes on for like 5 minutes, and it's just conversation goes.
Yeah,
nowhere.
Yeah, it's a circular argument.
Yeah, and then it moves on to them going, well, their contract says they can't do interviews, and we're like, okay, but what contract is this? And that's not what we were told. And they're like, can we see this we never saw this contract. And they're like, you're not allowed to see this contract. And we're like, okay, then why are we just being told this now? And it just goes on until they're finally again like, who said you can do interviews? And we're like, Casey, we said this. And they're like, we don't believe you. How can we know? And we're like, we have the email. So I show them the email from Casey saying, we're allowed to do interviews. And then they're like, oh, okay, well, if Casey said you can do interviews...
the thing we told him like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, they're like, that's okay then. Do you maybe want like a nice quiet room to do that in? And we're like, that would be nice if you have one. And they didn't end up being able to get us one, or maybe they were able to and just didn't tell us.
They did, actually.
Oh, they did?
They did, but we were already in the middle of a GM Barrow interview,
okay.
so I was like, no. And
I never saw them show back up, but okay. So that happened. And for a while, we were, like, really angry at these people because of all the shit they were giving us.
Well, they came off as very accusatory.
They
seemed
did.
to imply that we were demanding interviews and taking up the guests' free time.
Yeah, but that's also what they thought, because as we found out later, because someone else in our group who's not here right now actually talked to them, they had no idea that Casey gave anyone permission to do interviews. Like, they were told there are no interviews, but Casey told us we could do interviews. Like,
Which shows the horrible lack of communication. Yeah,
there's no communication between these people. And at the end of all this, during this whole argument, I'm on Twitter, and GM Barrow messages our group Twitter and is like, hey, I'll meet you there at 5. Will you still be there? And we're like, yeah, we'll be there. in the middle of this whole fucking argument. And so we do the interview. The next day we do Tina Guo, and everything's awesome. Everything is awesome that does not involve the con itself. Any con staff get involved, everything goes to shit. Mm-hmm. But everything else was great. Yeah, so that was media.
That was our media experience at EQLA. It was unpleasant.
Yeah, so vendors. A lot of the contact info for vendors didn't go to me. It went through my table partner, who will remain nameless because he's a nice guy.
Nice people don't have names.
We'll just call him what do we call him? Rick. Yeah, his name is Rick.
Rick and Morty.
Listen here, Duster. We gotta.
Oh, God damn it! Okay, so Rick sends in the application, and for the longest time we don't hear anything, and finally, like, I think it's about a month after applications open that some of the more horse famous people got acceptances into the vendor hall
from like Twitter and stuff.
Like Twitter, and it wasn't until like 2 weeks after the horse famous people got in that everybody else did. But me and Rick didn't hear anything from EQLA. It's like, that's really weird.
Nor did Morty.
And you're gonna keep making jokes about that, okay?
Of course. I don't know, Rick. I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna get to Vin.
I don't know. Jeez, Rick. I don't know if we're gonna get
Very nice job there, Scott. That's actually pretty accurate.
That's good. Yeah, that's good. I like it.
I want to know because.
So aside from the person sounding like a whiny bitch, so Rick is like, that's really fucking weird. Like, I'm gonna email the vendor guy, which he emails the vendor guy and gets a response from Kaniro.
Oh no.
And Kaniro says, well, check your email. It might have gone into the spam filter. And again, we look through the email like, no, it's not there. Oh, right, then I'll resend it. He never does. And so finally, I ask for contact for vendors, and I get it off Twitter because pretty much the only way to get EQLA's attention on anything is to call them out on Facebook or Twitter in public so they look bad.
So it's funny. Sorry, it's funny. We tried that.
Oh God!
I sent a tweet to @Equestria LA. I said, who's recording your convention this year? Nothing.
Yeah, if they respond, Kaniro uses his personal Twitter, which this is me putting on my tinfoil hat. I suspect they do that to keep complaints off of the main EQLA Twitter.
No, you probably aren't wrong.
And if I turned on my webcam, you would see the I Want to Believe poster right behind me.
I want to believe.
So we didn't get anything, and they never resent it. And finally I just said, like, are we in? Yes or no? Circle 1. And the response is, well, check your email. It's in there. And in my head I'm going, that wasn't an essay question. Yes or no? Apparently they don't have like a layout thing that they can just go and look at and go like, oh, let's see, Duster, Don Horse, and Rick. Yeah, you're in. So me and Rick spend about half an hour texting back and forth furiously. He finally finds the email in his spam folder, and he only finds one email. They never resent it. But the weird thing was the email format. Instead of, like, for example, vendors at generocon.com or something.
Oh man, I love GeneroCon.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Yeah, so instead of vendors at EquestriaLA.com.
That is until they sold out.
It was a first dot last name at EquestriaLA.com, which is incredibly strange. So I find it, and it's 3 days after the deadline that you're supposed to reply to say if you're in or not.
Nice.
We got it anyway. So then they email out, okay, so the price hike for the tables is because of providing lunches for all of our vendors. Like, oh, okay, that's cool. Which, by the way, the tables cost $350 each. For reference, BabsCon, its second year, cost $100.
Wait, back up. $350
for a table.
Mm-hmm.
For a table at EQLA.
Damn.
I thankfully split it in half, and Rick, being the gentle, beautiful soul that he is, saw how dismally we did and did not make me pay the full $175. If you're listening to this, bless you. Anyway.
You sneezed.
Yes. Probably did, because I'm talking about him. You know what they say about that. And so they say, oh, you look up this menu that the hotel gave us, and you send us your selections, and we'll bring it to your table. So we do that. And so, unrelated, but slightly related, was that the day before leaving for Day Zero, Friday, I got a root canal done. And so I was close to emailing the con saying, like, hey, all the things that you gave us to eat, I can't really eat because they kind of, I don't know, drilled a hole in my fucking tooth. Like, do you think there is any other options? And I didn't even bother because I knew they wouldn't reply. So we get there, and Friday is empty for the most part. When the creator panel happens, like, it just empties out. There's, like, nobody. I was able to case the vendor hall 3 times. It was that empty. And according to someone who went to the creator panel, which I think it was TG, the panel room wasn't even... The panel room wasn't even full.
No, yeah.
And it's a small panel room. It's a third
like,
of
compared
Babs.
to Babs, yeah, it's like a third, maybe even a quarter the size of the Babs room, and it wasn't even full. Babs's main panel room was full for almost every event, and the fucking vendor hall was still pretty packed during that time. Like, it is absurd how few people were at this convention.
And yeah, I was able to get up from my table and walk around the vendor hall 3 times because there were so little people.
Midgets everywhere.
Yeah, it was absurd. So, Friday was just dead. I made, I think $40 on Friday total. Saturday was a little bit better. Oh, and Friday we didn't get food that we paid for. Saturday was a little bit better, but not by much. I was still able to, like, get up and move around with very little difficulty. And I would come back after, like, hour-long stints. I actually remember I waited in line for a autograph from Bonnie Sackley and Lauren Faust, and it took, like, an hour 15 minutes. I came back and I made $10. So, Saturday wasn't all that good. Sunday, to forget about it, like nobody was there. So both me and Rick got just royally screwed by this convention. He says he did okay, which in Rick terms is not all that good. And normally a lot of artists get commissions at like $10 sketch commissions, which I always have them when I go to conventions. I didn't do a single one. The whole weekend. Not one. And that is mind-boggling to me. Because normally people are looking out for OC art. And I know there were some big names there that were doing OC art commissions. But even the little guys like me at least get one. The whole weekend I got 0. The only person who ever asked about commissions asked about a higher price item and then complained that it was too expensive.
Nice.
Which, by the way, if you've seen my Okami-style ponies, I had a note about ask commissions for those. $35 for one of those, custom of your OC, was apparently too goddamn high.
$35 is like, that's my impulse price. Like, I'll buy anything for $35. Hell, I just bought that brony book for like $8. Like, just like that.
I guess you could link it in the or show it in the actual video, but linked in the chat is what I am charging $35 for a custom. And apparently that was too much. Which, by the way, side note to anyone who's watching this and commissions art at conventions, don't do that. Like, it's really rude. If you don't like the artist price, just move on. Don't make some snide comment. Don't say, oh, that's so expensive, or so-and-so does it cheaper. It's rude. And it sucks for those of us who go to conventions like this and hear that and not make not even a ton of money. Make nothing. Like, it's shitty. Don't do it. And food for Saturday and Sunday. Saturday, we just got, like, a sandwich thrown at us, which at least I could eat.
No, you couldn't.
The third day was, what brand was it? I don't even...
It was a Lee's sandwich.
Okay, so I don't even know what the big deal with that was, but it was made out of a hard baguette.
Vietnamese sandwiches. They're real good. It's
made out of a hard baguette, which if you've ever had a root canal 2 days or 3 days before this meal, you know that's not going to happen. So, like, oh, thank God.
Sad.
I come back from the panel, like, oh, thank God I'm starving. Who's hungry? So, yeah, vending wasn't that good. And from the whispers around the vendor hall, like, only 2 vendors made it out of the black, maybe 3. Everyone else lost money. And I'm not going to name any names of the vendors who did well or the vendors who did bad, because if they want to say it, then they can say it. Like, I'm not going to drag anyone into this. But generally, the general feel I got from the vendors was that they did poorly. And one of them actually did so poorly that he knocked down his prices to 20 to 50% off. And is now only doing 2 brony conventions the entire year. That's how bad his work was doing at EQLA, which is a big fan of his work. I actually will name drop him because you should give him money. Silver Slinger, the jewelry guy.
Mm-hmm. This one is a sad story. If you follow his Twitter, he's talked about it on his Twitter, and it's absolutely terrible because, like, I want this guy at all my conventions that I
it's
go to.
Great.
Super
His
high
work
quality,
is amazing.
super talented,
That's-
reasonable prices. Yeah,
I own a lot of his work, and I told him as much.
I don't buy, like, very much at conventions because I'm almost always, like, strapped for cash. Mm-hmm. So I'll buy, like, 1 or 2 things at a convention. At Babs, I had actually won a bunch of money, like, right before it, so I was able to buy more stuff. But every time I see him at a convention, I buy stuff from him because it's such good quality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no doubt. And the fact that he's only doing 2 conventions now, that everyone loses out on that. I mean, because the other thing is he also makes these charity pieces that he donates to the charity.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, they're amazing. The one at this convention made almost nothing.
For comparison, I'm pulling this number out of my ass. I'm pretty sure. I know that he did a charity piece for Babs, which was a brooch of the Tree of Harmony with, like, gemstones as each of the, like, elements. Beautiful.
It's nuts. Just nuts.
And I think it sold for about $1,500.
Sure, yeah.
It did really well. There was another piece that he did that was $1,300. He always does he does above the $1,000 mark.
Yeah, most every
EQLA's
convention.
charity piece was a brass pocket watch with Luna on the front, and on the back was the signatures of 50 bronies and 3 show staff engraved on the back. $950.
Yeah.
$950.
Yeah. I mean, that's still a good amount of money.
It's a good amount of money, but compared to what he's done before, that is weirdly low.
Yeah, I mean, but he donates those for charity, and
Yeah.
here's the other thing to remember. This charity was the Wildlife Learning Center,
Which is Lauren Foss, like, pet charity.
exactly, and there's some speculation as to what was the charity before they switched it to that to entice her to join, to show up at the convention, and I don't know, personally, my inner cynic says watch it have been something like suicide prevention. And then she was like, make it pretty animals. And then they're like, yeah, fuck people.
Oh my god.
Like, this is my inner cynic
that
going
sounds like EQ. That sounds like
a thing.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like a thing, because the only reason I'm basing it off of that is because Babs always has San Francisco Suicide Prevention as one of its charities. And along with, who's the other one? SPCA?
Yes, the SPCA was the last one that they did.
Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, there's. I think it's pretty important because their city literally has a suicide tourist area in it. Like, the bridge is literally known for people jumping off of it, so it kind of makes sense in their case. But at the same time, I don't know. Like, if your charity was something benefiting humans, and now it's let's go look at the pretty animals.
I found out what the last charity was.
What?
EQLA 2013.
No. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
For this year, before they changed it.
What was it this year?
This year, I don't know, but they changed it. Their 2013 charity was for Child's Play.
Oh yeah, Child Play is pretty good too, though. Like games for kids in hospitals, right? Like sick kids in hospitals.
That's what I. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, that's what it is.
It's a pretty noble
It's a really nice charity.
It's a noble cause, all things considered. Child's Play is one of the big ones for Humble Bundle, too. Anyway, yeah. I just thought, man, the strings they must have pulled. But I just... Why? Yeah, your whole convention donating to the Wildlife Learning Center. I don't know. I've seen like Nightmare Nights, for example. Not to be, and I'm not saying this as a Nightmare Nights person, but they donate, and they have for the last 3 years, to St. Jude's.
Yeah.
You know, the hospital that provides completely free of charge services to any child who has cancer, or any kind of terminal life-threatening illness, but specifically cancer is their big focus. But yeah. Where do you want your money to go? That's where my money goes. Right there, every year, without hesitation. That's where my money goes, like, on Amazon. When I shop on Amazon, I donate to St. Jude's. Like, it's such a damn good cause.
Actually, I ran my own charity drive at my vendor table.
Did you?
I did. I'm actually looking at this creepy thing right now. We found a G3 Piggy Pie pinata at Walmart at like 11:30 at night, and
that was meant for another purpose.
That was meant for another purpose, but I was giving out secret ship pick cards that were custom made. I did the artwork and like all the other shit on it. And who donated $1 or more to the really creepy Piggy Pie pinata, then you got a secret ship pick card, and we raised. $46 for the Pectus Deformity Support Group, which, by the way, please donate to them. I was hoping for more, and I'm glad that we got $46, though. So, thank you, everyone who did that. It'll be back at Babs, and probably for the same thing.
Say it again. Say the name of it again.
It's called the Pectus Deformity Support Group, and it's an online support group for people who have one of two deformities of the sternum. Pectus cavanarum, which is the pectus sticks outward, Pectus excavatum, which it digs back in.
Yeah, that's where your chest looks like it either has a protrusion or a cave.
Or a hole. And I have lived with a chest hole all my life, which is why I was running this charity.
Can't the surgery fix it, though?
I was denied.
Oh, yikes.
I was denied.
I know. I'm sorry. We're like way in personal territory.
Yeah,
and I'm not trying to.
Okay. I think this whole talk when people are like, "Well, what the hell is that?" Like, I'm too old for it now. But the great thing is that we could raise money for people who are looking at surgery as an option, or they're too old and they're trying to find like some sort of like middle ground that they can get along with their body image. That's what this money is going towards.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
At BabsCon, we will be bringing that back. But it's kind of weird that we didn't get a whole lot of people coming by the table. That we didn't get a whole lot of people. Really looking at least the charity thing that we had going on. I mean, I did have a few people that said, like, I don't really care about getting anything out of it, just, like, here's a buck. Which, thank you to those people.
Yeah, that's really nice.
But otherwise, it was just very, very strange comparing it with BabsCon, which was pretty active no matter what time you were there. To EQLA, which once the vendor hall closed, like everybody's gone.
Mm.
And there's only one other convention I've heard of that kind of operates like this, and it's Midwest Fur Fest. Better known as Midwest Fuck Fest, because when 9 o'clock hits, everybody's in their hotel rooms doing exactly what you think.
Yeah, but that's just because it's a furry con.
And to their credit, though, I've been to Anthrocon, and Anthrocon is run really well.
I hear the orgies are good too.
At least when I
Oh my god.
I do have a story about my roommates crashing a fetish party, which is pretty hilarious.
Another time, maybe.
For another time, maybe. I know. Yeah,
After.
It's terrific.
Hi, buddy. But in the end, I feel like we didn't really get what we paid for. We didn't get meals one day. We didn't get the turnout that we were promised. Not all that many people made it out. I know that sometimes you vend at cons for fun, but when you're like me and you're not even you're minimum wage and barely part-time, like you're taking a big gamble.
Sure.
So at least it should be I guess I'll put it this way that I did on Horse News. I drove to EQLA and lost money. I flew to BabsCon and stayed at a hotel and made a profit. That is backwards.
Mm. Well, considering the publicly stated attendance numbers of the two conventions, well, I believe, according to... I actually do have the PonyCon spreadsheet up right in front of me, actually. I kind of keep this one in my favorites, this PonyCon spreadsheet. 1 second. It's always hard to tell what it's labeled as. Too Many Bronies. There's a convention called Too Many Bronies, really?
What?
There is.
Where?
Japan?
Using that name again, I know exactly what...
okay, yeah, that's Japan.
Are there, in fact, too many bronies?
Too many
Hey, there are bronies in
bronies.
Japan. I didn't know where they were.
No, I'm sorry. It's not in Japan. The comment got goofed. It's in Madrid, Spain.
Not known for having too many bronies, but okay.
Yeah, not really a convention. Not really an area known for having that many bronies. Why is it called Too Many Bronies? Anyway,
might be a translation.
They're talking about the Summer Sun celebration, right?
I heard it was about 1,700, 1,800 people, maybe.
Yeah, that's the number I'm getting, and in fact, I'm looking at 2013. Oh, when it was called Derp. Oh yeah, Summer Wrap-Up Festival is what it's called now. EQLA 2015, approximately 1,700.
Yeah, that's...
And so approximately 1,700. BabsCon spitballs their attendance this year at approximately 2,648. So, give or take
almost
0.
1,000 more.
You have, granted, almost 1,000 more, but also proportionally speaking, that's only like what percentage of an increase, and you went what percentage in difference in costs?
More.
So the convention that has literally 1,000 more people costs you less to attend. You made more money.
Yes.
So I don't know. How does this work out in the big picture?
In the big picture, I'm going to be going to BabsCon. I mean,
hardly blame you.
The difference between how we were treated vendor-wise at EQLA versus BabsCon, which I distinctly remember this at BabsCon. At one point, Sonia, the con chair of BabsCon, was going around each individual vendor table asking them, how you doing? Do you need anything? Is there anything that we could get the staff to get you? Any questions, comments, complaints? Going to each and every table, checking in on them. And this is the chair. This isn't just like the head of vendors. This is the person in charge of the entire thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And later we had the head of vendors coming around, giving out bottles of water to people. So BabsCon took care of us really well. EQLA just kind of like sat you down at a table and told you to do whatever. And there's actually one vendor that I am going to name drop, not only because we all gave her money and we like her, But because I feel bad for her, Ononoko.
Oh, her, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ononoko was at...
I have a hard time remembering who I like.
It's because
Ononoko
so
has done badges for like pretty much everyone. I was the first one to get something, and then I started a thing. But she was at a table directly across from Taps.
Yeah.
And normally, with musicians at the vendor hall, this is how Eurobeat did it. Eurobeat had like one of those little iHome speakers, like a teeny tiny one, that you could still hear it if you got close to the table, but if you walked away, then you didn't really hear it all that much.
Sure.
Taps had a full-on, like, stack going on.
Oh yeah,
That
the
was
giant
just
speakers.
blasting his music. And I thought I had to yell over him. Ononoko was right across the way from him. And apparently, like, they were told to turn it down, and then a minute later it would just go back up.
Wow.
So we were, like, behind and up 3 from Ononoko and Taps, and even I had to yell over Taps' music. Like, I don't know what possessed them to do this, but it was just absurd. Overall, EQLA, they're probably going to ban me anyway for what I did to get one of the interviews. But,
I don't know. Being banned there sounds like a badge of honor. Hey, I'm banned.
Yeah.
I don't get to go.
yeah, so I guess you can say it right now. Hey, the person that you were looking for who asked Bonnie Zacherle's representative, not Zacherle herself first, get that right, in the autograph hall, that was me.
Oh,
And I will tell
They're
you
not
how
listening.
I did that.
they're not listening.
They're not listening, but I will tell you how I did that anyway. It does say that you cannot ask the person without permission from the representative. Here's what I did. I showed my badge to Summer Hayes, who is handler for Bonnie Zacherle. I am with media. We have been trying to contact Miss Zacherle for an interview. Can we ask for one right now? Asking the representative, not the talent itself. Basically saying, you can tell me that this conversation is over right now.
Yep.
And she said, she looked over at Zacherle, is like, do you want to schedule an interview? Yeah, I think we could do that. Okay, now we can talk. That's what happened. And we scheduled an interview. We complied with all of Bonnie Zacherle's requests for the interview, which you've seen our interview. It's now up. We complied with everything that they asked of us to do. And I'm not kidding when I say we went the mile to try and find Bonnie Zacherle. But we contacted Summer at one point on Facebook. We contacted someone else. Like, it was just, you just couldn't do it. So yeah, now if you want to ban me from EQLA.
Congrats, Duster. You get to be with, like, what, the 1 or 2 other people who are banned from EQLA this year?
Oh God, I get to be with Michael. That is not a
That's
pool
a
I want to
fun
be a part
time.
of.
So, what, I guess the take-home from this is normally don't do that.
Yeah, no.
Like,
what I did
normally-
is totally unkosher at any other convention.
At any convention that has a person whose name is something relations, where it's sounds like a Lewinsky joke, right? But yeah, you kids are
Have media relations.
I
with
was gonna
that
say
guest
you
of
kids
honor?
are too damn young to understand.
No.
Oh, so you think.
What?
So you think.
So you think, yeah. So, yeah, media relations, press relations, any of those things are gonna handle that for you most of the time. And
Yeah,
this,
any other
this is
convention, what I did would not be okay. I fully accept that.
yeah, you'd get in trouble for it, but it.
When it gets to the point that you have literally no other
It's the only
option,
way, yeah.
and the staff is pretty much refusing to help you.
Sure. Was the Zacherle? I haven't seen the Zacherle interview yet. Was that in the bar too?
Nope, that was
No.
in the autograph room.
Oh.
That
Okay,
was in the
good.
autograph hall. That was one of the
I would have brought
requests.
her a drink if she wanted one.
No, one of the requests is that the interview be held in the autograph hall to accommodate her schedule. Which, of course, yeah, we could totally do that.
Fine, why not? Yeah, sure.
And the whole time we just got to stare at John Delancey because he was doing autographs at the time. But actually, now that we have someone from another convention that we've never been to, but actually at one point discussed last minute, why don't we do this?
Okay.
Which we're not. We can't do it.
What?
Well, going to Nightmare Nights are like, we should
Do
see if
it.
it's actually possible.
I would, but I don't have.
Hey, next year.
Next year, probably. I'm a poor college student. I can't fly halfway across the country.
It's not halfway across the country. It's
Yeah,
a
it
short
is.
distance.
It's
Yeah,
in
it
fucking
is.
Texas.
Oh, right.
It's roughly halfway across the country. But hey, you guys, if you're going to get on a plane, hey, I got on a plane 2 years in a row for BabsCon, and I live in Texas.
No, I want to go, but I don't have the money to do it.
No, I didn't have the money either. Oh, I'm flat broke. Oh my god. Oh, the amount of debt I've gone into going to conventions, just stupid. just stupid, really. But I mean, besides that, it's totally something you should go to.
There's a lot of conventions on our bucket list.
I know there's a lot of yeah. Okay, well don't
there's
miss
Nightmare Nights.
Everfree is definitely
Everfree.
one of those,
Everfree
yeah.
Northwest. Yeah, Everfree Northwest is actually one I've never been to.
I've seen a lot of people that I like going to Everfree.
Seattle would be a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah, I want to go tour like Starbucks.
Starbucks.
Yeah,
Coffee
okay, I would
beans.
too.
I'm a skinny white bitch. I know.
I'm also a skinny white bitch, so I also do this.
I'm a fat white bitch.
I'm the pony at the end of that episode.
Oh my god.
I'm a fashionable fat.
We actually did have someone ask at the panel, would we consider going to other conventions, like BronyCon, that kind of thing? The answer is absolutely. Give us money to do it.
Give us money to do it.
Yeah.
Got to have
bankroll
money.
it. Yeah, if
Like,
you bankroll it, I'll go
I'm
anywhere.
not going to open up a GoFundMe because I'm not an asshole, but
Oops.
like,
Yeah, we don't care.
That's been done before. I didn't do it, but I mean, that's been done like 1 billion times before.
oh yeah, no, and I honestly don't
Help me
expect
get to
people
this convention. Hey, I'm horse famous, right?
Yeah, I don't expect people to do that, but absolutely, if we had the funds, totally, we would come to whatever convention except for the ones that that Final Draft is heading because he probably doesn't want us there.
Not anymore, probably.
Not anymore, yeah.
I don't know. The podcasts are kind of immune in an interesting way.
But even if we flat out just say mean things,
Well, I mean,
Well, it's probably because they're so long that no one's gonna. People don't feel like
There's-
listening.
there's a lot of podcasts. I mean, for one, there's I think 55 that are on PVL alone, and so if you had to go through the whole list every time someone said, "Hey, we're with this podcast," and you had to go look through our entire list, just to see if it's one that you're mad at.
Good luck.
hey guys, do we hate them?
Hey, do we hate these guys?
Big
I
Brother
know when
Final
I hate
Draft is
somebody.
watching you.
They just do a quick find on our homepage,
Control
like
F.
Control F. And
yeah. Our Google Doc says we don't like them.
Yep.
Yep, they're on the shit list.
They're on the shit list.
No shekels for you.
Don't let them in.
You guys know there's a lot of money in the Pony Podcast game.
Oh yeah, no,
You
we're
guys
I'm
just
rolling in Patel on
in
the
it.
side.
Yeah.
Quit my day job.
That's why I didn't have to give money to my bank for not having money.
Ain't that a bitch?
Yeah, banks are
Yeah.
assholes.
Banks, man. Friggin'. It's like, hey, bank, where do you get most of your money? Oh, fees for poor people. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, that reminds me.
Wait, how do you collect money from
How much
people
did you
who
get
don't have
compensated
money?
for running the panel, TG?
Oh, that's
nothing
right.
yet.
Okay, so the common etiquette for panelists and press is you reimburse them because they took time out of their busy day and busy whatever.
Hold on.
They didn't do that.
You reimburse them for what?
Read the panel.
For your badge.
Oh, for their badge.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about like flight and hotels and stuff. I'm like, no. Most conventions,
not that far.
most conventions don't do that. No, yeah, for your badge. Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Panelists get free badges,
Not at
and
EQLA.
Panelists did not get free badges.
press definitely get.
No, press
Not
didn't
at press. Nope.
Nope.
Press paid full price. Panelists paid $10.
Now, what? Hold on.
And according to one commenter on Horse News, so take this with a massive grain of salt, staff paid $10 more.
That's just weird. Anyway, what? I guess that's just to prove that you really want it, right?
Yeah, no reimbursement.
This is really interesting.
suppose you don't want to be an EQLA brother, no.
I mean, I've seen some conventions say, yeah, staff have to, like if you're a volunteer for the convention, then you have to pay your way through, and then maybe you get like a partial reimbursement after you've done your stuff. Like I see, because a lot of the time that's an incentive to get people to show up.
Yeah, that's what BabsCon does with their panelists, is that you pay up front for the badge, and then afterwards, if you show up, then they reimburse you.
Otherwise, that money's gone. Yeah, exactly. So that there's some incentive for you to not flake. Yeah. And the press, though, uniformly are comped for badges. Absolutely.
Not at EQLA.
Not
Absolutely.
so that's pumped at all.
You can add that to the list. Yeah.
I know. I'm just thinking like, boy, that's new. I didn't even hear about that, and not like I need anything, but hey, look.
Yeah, press did not get comped. Vendors paid a lot of money. Panelists. The initial message that I got on panelists, I actually asked them like up front on Facebook, do panelists get reimbursed?
Yeah.
And the first message they sent is panelists will pay a minimum of $10 for their badge, which means that that panelists could pay anywhere from $60 to $10.
So so in other words, you had to pay your attendee badge, and then you had to pay for your vendor table on top of that. And
vendor table came with a membership, so they at least thought that part through.
Okay, all right. I was going to say, because for $300 something, like.
That came with a
it damn well had better have come with a pass or something, like seriously. But yeah, the idea with press getting comped badges is the press would not. This is just like the argument the RIAA makes about music piracy is if you download music, that's a lost sale. Well, no, not everybody who pirates music would have gone to buy your music in the first place. Similar in this regard, not everybody who's press would have gone to your convention had they not been able to get a press pass. And so the idea is this is a little tit for tat. This is a little I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine. In exchange for the free pass, you give us free publicity that we don't have to pay for. Free advertising. You say, hey, here are our interviews from your awesome convention, or hey, we're going to this awesome convention, or something. And it's free promotion. And then
fans would go like, hey, the people that I like to listen to on the internet are going to be at a physical place where I can talk to them. I should give them money to be at that physical place.
Guess what other convention?
And then Richard Nixon rises from his grave to advertise the convention.
There's only one other convention in my personal history that's ever charged us to be present there.
Unicon?
And it was Las Pegasus.
Of course.
That's right. Las Pegasus.
Good job getting on Ver level EQLA.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're standing on the shoulders of giants here.
Dead giants.
The convention, Las Pegasus said, okay, well, not only do you have to pay for your own flight and hotel. I said, okay, well, yeah, duh. They said, but you have to pay for badges for everybody on your organization who's coming. And we're going to give you a deal. If you want to go to like the special VA thing where all the VAs are going to be, like this dinner that's going on.
Dinner.
We'll let you get into that for half price. Okay, that's nice. Okay, well, also, if you want to be able to use the skybox, which was this upstairs area, they said it's the only area you're really going to be able to film because there's no other quiet space. We don't guarantee quiet space to the press. So you're going to have your own skybox. So if you want to get one of those, that's going to be extra, on top of it. Guess how much it cost us to cover LPU?
How much?
Oh, God. A
Just
shit ton?
more than it was worth.
All right, so for your entire group, like counting all badges.
Not counting. All right, so just counting 2 people going to the special dinner and badges, and this is not counting flight and hotel. This is just counting administrative fees to LPU itself, the doomed convention that then pissed away that money.
I'm going to say
250.
400.
I was just going to say 250 to 300.
I'll also go 400.
Okay, the 400s are right.
Oh wow!
God, this is such a ridiculous
Just
number.
right about $400, and that was for the honor of covering this convention.
I mean,
you were part of
it
history
definitely
now.
needed it.
We were part of history. This was
Never forget.
For the record, that was the first convention Ponyville I've ever covered.
Oh my God, it was.
That must have been an
amazing.
experience.
Actually, it was. It was spring. It was not spring. Yeah, spring technically. February 2013. We had just been created in the winter, and of course, there's no conventions in winter. And so our first convention was February, and so we're like, let's go to Vegas. Like we're like really excited about it. Like it's a big deal. And of course, at this point, we had none of our fleet of equipment. We had none of our we were 3 radio stations at this point. Like we had 3 radio stations, 0 podcasts, and 0 1 video stream total. So just a shell, just like this brand new project starting up, and so we go and Everfree's next to us. And they've got their own skybox and stuff, of course, right? Yeah, they spent money on it. Why not? Actually, they may not have, but anyway, we go up there and they've all got matching uniforms. This is the big thing: is Everfree always had matching button-down shirts.
Why?
And
Just to
button-down.
be as
No, but the black
possible.
ones with the logo.
The black button-down with
I know
the
what you're
infant
talking
logo
about.
embroidered. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's this fancy, nice little touch, and I always thought
Looks nice.
And I said, yeah, it looks fine. I don't know if I would have gone with a button down because it constricts movement. Your whole job is to kind of get around and be agile a little bit. So we went with polos. We have polos for our crew, but because it's also a little bit more casual too, and we wanted to kind of anyway. So we ended up getting uniforms too at some point, but
Greg, when are we getting uniforms?
yeah, come on. When are you guys getting just fart flavored?
I mean, I was thinking we're not really uniforms, but once we actually get a custom channel URL, I'll make t-shirts.
Just get
so we can
the black
fucking
t-shirt with
stuff.
the
Yeah.
I'll have to ask one of my friends at school where he gets his business cards printed.
Yeah, business cards and t-shirts once we hit 500.
I put all my business cards on a PDF and print them on my mom's printer, so I don't know why you're spending a whole lot of money.
All right.
I get mine printed. We have business cards for PVL. I have all right. They gave me a special deal. Vistaprint is one of the companies.
They're always advertising on
They're
Pandora.
always advertising. Yeah, they do cheap printing, and they've always got these promotional specials, which is if you order 5,000 of something, you get it for $30. And I'm like, damn it. All right. So I actually I gave in and ordered 5,000.
Oh my god! Why?
They're not 5,000. It may have been 2,000. I think maybe 2,000 of them. Now,
God damn.
how many do you think I still have? About 1,900 business cards that I still have. I've handed out maybe 100 in 3 years, because. Whoops! They all have my personal phone number on them. They all have they have my Skype name and my Twitter and stuff, but they also have my personal phone number, which means I won't hand them to fandom people. 90% of the time, I'll be like, "Yeah, follow me on Twitter.
Follow me on Twitter.
Follow me on Twitter. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment."
Oh, God, yeah.
But because I don't want people bugging me.
You didn't think that
Don't
through.
blame me on that one. Yeah, it's
I don't want people calling me at home, and so I only give them to show staff and stuff. Like when they're like, "Hey, do you have a card?" I'm like, "Yeah, actually." And so that's it. That's the only time. And even still, even when I hand people my card, nobody calls me on my freaking phone. Who does that? It's 2015, right? They sext me.
Future.
That's what they do. Kids these days are sexting. That's what I hear from.
I saw it on the Lifetime movie.
60 Minutes has told me that kids these days are doing the meth, and they are
Doing the meth.
getting on the Googles and sexting each other
Meth.
like crazy.
Rules and drinking all
And
the
those
alcohol.
goddamn rainbow parties and whatever.
Rainbow parties, and they have these key parties, and you just like put your keys in a bucket a bowl or something. I don't know.
Wow, I have to Google that.
A key party?
Yeah, that's a real thing.
That's a real thing. Yeah, everybody puts their keys in there, and then somebody like reaches their hand in, and shuffles the keys around. Whoever's keys they pull out, that's the thing. You gotta go with that.
Yeah, I thought.
Yep.
Thank you, Google, for instantly giving me a hit that sums it up in 2 sentences. It's like you know I'm a creep.
Google does know you're a creep.
Google knows everything about it.
If there's a thing Google can know, Google knows it,
Why?
and it's about you.
Considering I'm the one that reviews hentai games, yeah, Google knows I'm a creep.
Yeah.
Yeah, those aren't on your website, by the way. You're welcome.
Hey, no compensation
Yeah, I was gonna
for
say
us
that-
at all.
That 18 plus flag only means only means
No,
like
We ain't doing that.
language and stuff.
it's a separate channel, and
That's probably good.
it's a separate channel which all the videos have a warning on them, and I'm pretty sure an age lock as well, and all of them are censored.
I think with YouTube you actually can do that, right? You can set you must confirm your age.
I don't
to
think
view
we did
this.
set an age lock for those.
Oh, womp womp. Well, if they're
I
censored,
can.
mean, it's not.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're censored. There's nothing there. It's, you know.
there's nothing there.
To the disappointment of some of our viewers.
You'll just get a picture of a Monster Energy can and JonTron.
We even had one where we
you
had
know.
Goku go through all of his Super
Oh
Saiyans.
god, yeah, that was the last episode.
So speaking of dank memes,
The dankest.
I gotta say this is totally off. What topic were we on? I don't.
I
Anyway,
have no idea. what
The
topic.
compensation.
talking about
Yeah,
EQ.
we were finally finishing up EQLA.
Compensation for press at EQLA. Speaking of EQLA, so hey, see, yeah, I know what I'm doing. So
Oh my god.
that podcast that podcast, Hoof Hearted, that podcast, the M.A. Larson interview.
Yeah.
It starts off with we're here with
We're glad
John
you enjoyed
Cena.
Yeah.
And then it just like gets straight on to like sort of professional stuff. But like I love that you meet him on his level on this kind of stuff, which is good because this is like he's
a
chill.
fun guy. It's Larson.
He's a
yeah.
fun guy.
You gotta
He's
have
chill, and so you got to play it. You got to play it chill too. Otherwise, he'll just be like he'll know that you're being formal, and he'll get too formal too. And then like yeah. So you got to be chill with him. But I love the Alicorn joke counter.
Yes, that was me.
And he keeps it, and he says, "I'm already going to need a second one of these."
There's actually another one that didn't get made. I think the file got lost, but it was a signature counter.
Oh yeah, he needs
Wait,
that
what
too.
sensor did you use for this? I'm going through the old
Which one? Which one?
Miracle Grow. Really?
Oh yeah, Miracle Girl. That was the plant girl.
Yes, that was. I also see JonTron screaming.
What?
Do you want me to? Here, I'll link this in the chat.
Yeah,
Link it in the chat.
channel.
Yeah,
It's I'll link. Okay. Well.
Actually, I'm already there. Let me just link it.
Okay. Okay.
lazy.
Okay, so yes. By the way, all the songs in the beginning I pick.
Okay. All right. I don't know
What
what
was
to
the first
expect
one?
here. I don't no idea what to expect here.
What was the first song?
Am I?
Oh. Oh,
Title's great.
sorry. I just heard the lyrics and I was about to like repeat them. I was like, "Give me your
Yeah.
Oh wait, yeah.
your hard one."
And also, my vagina is 8 miles
that
wide.
one.
It's also there.
That's wow.
At
Fits
some point, I found
Hoof
the
Hearted
mashup
after
of,
dark.
I found a great mashup of techno remix of "Sex on the Beach" mashed up with the main theme of Skyrim.
Anyway, we
Vegeta doing.
Yeah, we're
Our
so
tangents
off
are
rock.
amazing. Yeah, we should probably get to a point of wrapping this up. I think
Hey,
we've said quite an awful lot.
I don't feel
I
bad
didn't
for
even
the
get
person
to do
who
my
finished.
piece.
all right. Oh yeah, Treebeard, go ahead.
Treebeard, you wrap up the QLA segment.
No, another time.
You sure? All right.
2 hours, Greg,
Yeah.
going for 3.
And I've got to edit this, so
Yeah, have fun.
Anyway, plugs and pimps.
Plugs and pimps, as we call it.
What is that?
Is there anything you would like to plug or pimp out?
I guess thanking Silver for getting us on PVL. That's the
Yes.
first thing.
Yeah.
Thank
So-
you, Silver.
Thank you, Daddy Silver.
Yay.
Oh, because you have to make it creepy.
Yeah, that's like way
Yeah.
weird. Wait, you're weird.
Even I wouldn't
scale.
do that, TG. What the hell is wrong with you?
That would be really creepy if you did. Like,
Oh, that would be creepy.
What was that? I was watching the Monster Girl Quest penis go Super Saiyan.
Again, my idea.
I'm watching this in the background too, and I'm trying to like, what do I want to pimp here? I'm really proud of the Hoof Hearted guys because they've put
Thank you,
together this hentai reading channel. And I mean, it is just top notch, really. Like
And there's still the
music.
episode that we haven't released yet. It's still in editing.
And I also have the wow. Okay, you guys have made me look up some really weird stuff tonight. Wow.
You'll get used to us. I hope.
Oh yeah, and I just have to note it gets worse.
So 80 people have looked at your Bonnie Zachary interview
Yay!
from BVL just by itself.
Oh wow.
BVL. So, of course, the thing is not like logging yet on your thing. I think that's dumb. But anyway, you probably got more people seeing it than that. And so anyway, yeah, I don't know. Shameless promotion here. Like you can find Hoof Hearted now on ponyvillelive.com. That's Pony Pony.
Is there?
Ville like the city, and then live like the word live. People briefly thought that it was Ponyville Live when they first launched, and there are a couple of people did. They asked us like, "Why are you like what's the opposite? Ponyville Dead?" I'm like, "Well, I guess the opposite's like Ponyville Undead, which is like kind of badass."
Yes, we've read Story of the Blanks. Thank you for asking.
We actually thought about
What? I was thinking of something cooler.
we thought about doing like a Ponyville Dead like April Fool's thing, like just like changing the theme to the dark.
I mean,
theme.
that sounds like a great Halloween
Make
special.
it all grimdark,
Yeah,
looking
Halloween.
on the opening page.
Yeah, a grim dark. Oh, jeez. We get
All
fan
right,
fiction.
one.
Read my shitty sequel of Cupcakes.
Oh god,
Oh my goodness.
it's My Little Dashy Grimdark edition.
Yeah, P.S. Anyone who wants us to bring Grimdark to our bad fanfic reading panels, we're not bringing them because the con won't let us, and they suck too bad.
Also, here we go. I'm getting started. I'm getting started with the Grimdark My Little Dashy. All right, so what's the guy's name in My Little Dashy? Harry.
Abercrombie guy.
He's-
I'm gonna go for a walk.
Amber.
we know him as Walker McAbercrombie.
Walker, or the Bat Pony from the Rainbow Dash Presents version of it.
Oh my!
That's fantastic.
I don't
The
remember
bat
what.
who lived.
Yeah, I'm the bat who lived. All right, so this guy is just out on a drive one day, and then suddenly he hears this like loud thumping from his front right tire, and he gets out and he just sees this like UPS looking box, and it's just got like red dripping out of it, and like he goes up to it, and it's like, and he looks at it, and it's like, oh my god, is that a magical pony?
He ran over Dash.
And he tries to resuscitate it like for hours, because he's like, it's a magical pony. Why can't the magic bring it back to life? and then but nothing. And
I want to read this.
Yeah, I really want to read
Write
it.
it, Treebeard!
And then he has to bury this pony. Well, actually, no. It goes like he doesn't bury the pony because he still wants to like explore the magical pony world, and so he does this Weekend at Bernie's thing.
Oh my god!
You know Weekend at Bernie's, right? You put the glasses on.
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah. So he does that, except with the Dash corpse, and like
That's
just walks,
awful.
like takes it on walks and stuff, and it's just like ventriloquism,
Is it
like
stuffed
it's just,
too, like or...
it's like taxidermied
Oh my
Dash.
Is it like the terrible fanfic with Celestia stuffing Twilight Sparkle's corpse as her wife?
Yeah, okay. If
You
that's
know,
a
this
thing-
sounds like something that's perfect for me to read as Kermit the Frog.
I will give it to you. I've read it.
Frog here.
So the Rainbow Dash, actually, every time I end up doing Kermit the Frog, I end up doing what's
Cosby.
no, not well, yes, Bill Cosby, but also Aurora. Aurora,
Oh,
the pony
yeah.
from
From,
Oh my god.
you see.
Who basically is Bill Cosby?
It basically is Bill
but,
Cosby,
you know,
but it's
yeah.
a little different. It's like the cereal has a toy in it, and that's the added value.
Honestly, when I hear Aurora, all I think of is this guy we know named Aaron.
Yes.
Sounds
Oh my
bad.
God. Yes.
There's a guy who sounds like that.
Yes.
Yes.
He honest to
my-
God does.
It really
Oh,
seems like it
exactly
would.
like
It
that.
seems like it would be hard to sound like that, like unless it was on purpose.
No, it's just how he talks.
That really just like zip zop zoop.
Well, he does like zip zop zoom bob, but he does talk with that inflection, and he ends a lot of his sentences with a
Nice guy, but yeah.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
He's
Nice
fun
guy, but his voice is crazy as hell. Yeah,
He's a nice guy with a crazy voice.
that's what I'm pimping.
All right. I guess on our own channel, yeah, pony content is finally back because you're watching this podcast. You should know. I
You're
don't
gonna
know
do
when-
the season 2 retrospective.
Oh yeah, we're
eventually
that
when I edit the 3.5 hour long season 1 retrospective.
So, question:
That was 3.5
Yes.
hours. Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh
God
my
damn it.
God.
Yeah,
So-
we're not
Answer.
doing it in that format again.
administrative question.
Yo,
I know I'm right. You're right in the middle of your podcast. I'm so sorry.
It's
Oh,
fun.
good.
Do you stream this video?
No.
no, we don't.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say because if you do, we can show it on our homepage, and send people to it if that's what's going on. But no, you're just recording
Thought
for
we could get that to.
Yeah, we go on too many tangents and stuff. To live
it's
stream
for
it
the
and-
best, really. Yeah,
Yeah.
because you're gonna have to clean it up a lot. So
Right.
yeah, all right, that's fair.
But yeah,
But yeah, there's that.
Pony. That's coming back. What else from Pony? Our React should come back sometime soon. That's lowest priority though. They'll come back eventually. There's too much stuff, man.
It's because
And, other cartoon accessories.
Cartoon accessory.
Yeah, we have of course Gravity Falls, which is boomed.
It's
I
been
mean,
booming.
Yeah, it's been booming.
It's
Got Reacts. We got our mystery cast, both doing well.
Can I read off my favorite tweet?
Yes.
This is about this episode, so it's relevant. This is my favorite tweet. It's from Jenny Nicholson, who does the voices, or did the voices for Friendship.
Friendship is Witchcraft. Yes, I am. She's
Her
a very
tweet-
nice lady.
Her tweet is amazing here, and it is, reenact this episode about the evils of mass production with the My Little Pony Rarity Carousel Boutique playset now at Toys R Us stores.
How toyetic.
Oh
That's
yeah,
the
I did.
best. 26
All right.
retweets, 42 favorites.
Oh my god.
It's awesome.
But
Oh, yeah,
we
one other
have
thing that-
Gravity Falls, Steven Universe. all
And
that.
when is the Gravity Falls meetup, by the way?
2 weeks from now,
yeah.
the
That's the
26th.
26th.
26. So
We're
yes,
gonna be there.
if you are in the Los
Probably.
Angeles area and want to hang out with a bunch of other Gravity Falls nerds, including ourselves,
Be there.
Be there.
I'll be late because I have a air quotes job.
Air quotes job? I think it's an actual job.
They cut my
Last I
hours.
check. Yeah, it's still a job.
You still have
Your
an
boss is a
income.
dickle.
One more
Anyway.
thing
Sucks.
worth mentioning. one more thing worth mentioning. We're not sure which channel it's going to go on, but me and Duster are going to watch an anime we found called Bikini Warriors.
I did a Google image search of this thing. It's probably going on the After Dark channel. Because
That's for the best. Mhm.
actually,
Wow.
let me tell you what sold this on the After Dark channel. So I just Googled Bikini Warriors on Google and nothing else. And one of the hits is the official site on Funimation. Funimation licensed it in America.
You're right.
Yeah,
This
that's the
is
thing
what
they do.
this is what it says on Google, and I will let you know when it cuts off. Prepare yourself for an adventure of epic proportions. With warriors so skilled at battling questionable slimes and taming tumescent tentacles, there's no need for cuts off.
What? I don't. That makes me feel unclean.
There's no need for.
And just to allay any fears, yes, perverts, there are body pillows of these characters. You're welcome.
Oh, thank God.
I can also be easy.
I was worried I was gonna.
And yet,
spend-
it's too stupid for us to pass up.
Yeah, all we know is that it's called Bikini Warriors, and they use the word tumescent in their description.
Tumescent always to me has still sounded like bearing a tumor.
Yeah, that is what
I mean, I know
that sounds like.
not what it means.
No,
although
but it sounds like.
Glowing tumor.
it means like swollen. Which
Oh.
is equally it does. It's like equally lewd.
I didn't even know what that word meant. But, now it's
Now we know.
grosser.
Swollen, especially as a response to sexual arousal, according to Google.
Thanks,
this
Google.
is going on the After Dark channel.
So gross.
This can only end well.
Tumescence is like an erection.
Oh.
It's like the swelling of an organ. And wow,
So,
we have
this
a podcast
After Dark
this
channel as
family-friendly
well.
podcast.
there is
Before
nothing
we cut off, things that are
for-
also going on the After Dark channel. Review of Honey Pop, the Bejeweled porn game.
Jesus.
Working on that.
I've played Honey Pop.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
actually, small spoiler, didn't hate it. But immediately after that is literally the worst hentai game ever created. So prepare yourself for that. It is mind-boggling how sickening this is.
Bejeweled. I mean, that's the first thing I thought too when I played it. Was like, this is like using Bejeweled. Like, if Bejeweled skills would actually get into anybody's pants, I would have done it by now.
Like, the reason I'm still single is because I'm awful at Bejeweled.
I'm actually.
I just need to
That's
get
the thing is, I'm like
good at
really good at.
Bejeweled.
Yeah, I'm really good at Bejeweled. Like my score, like Bejeweled Blitz, the game for your phone, where you have a minute. You have a minute to do like as high of a score. My score every week for like 6 years now has been over 1 million. Like over.
And that's why you walk around with women just magnetically attached
By
to
the
you.
way, I am literally swimming in a sea of bitches
Of course.
at this
That's how
point.
it works. That's how Bejeweled works.
Oh, so that's where the Great Babbage Sea is. I'm wondering where it went.
Yeah. If only, right? If only.
Yeah,
that
when I
was-
watched them play it, the first thing I said was, if this is going to tell me that dating is like Bejeweled, I'm leaving.
Kinda
You're just-
like-
Dating's a
prepare
lot
for
like
review
Bejeweled,
of-
I'm leaving.
Prepare for a review
Bejeweled,
of
like-
Bejeweled, followed immediately by the most objectively horrible hentai game there is, next to Euphoria.
Bejeweled is a little bit like romance in that, when you look back at your statistics and it says you spent 1,700 minutes playing it, you go, why the hell did I waste all that time on that? That's the same as like relationships.
Yeah.
Because you just go like, why the hell did I waste so much time
That's
on that?
that's not wrong.
Yeah. I'm such a embittered the fedora tipping nice guy.
Oh god, we have another bitter person. You're another Treebeard.
Another tree beard.
Everyone be bitter. We're all bitter.
Yeah. All right.
Meanwhile,
all
I'm
right.
gonna go get some
Today
loser
is stealing
bronies
my
to give me shit
cane
because
and
I'm a
peeing
gross.
on my
Yeah.
lawn.
Do we have anything else to pimp
No,
out?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think we've
Let's just end this.
everything.
All right, so Treebeard.
Yeah,
All right,
Closing
so
words.
never-ending.
that was a journey.
It was a fun journey.
We have
you-
broken the 2.5-hour mark. Woohoo!
Yay!
My thing says
Sweet
3.
Mexican
but,
jumping bean Christ.
At least you're recording it's 2.5, but
Yo,
Yeah.
okay, I got you. All right. This is what happens with me on podcasts, though.
No, this is what happens with us on podcasts.
it's perfectly okay. This was a very
This is
awesome
normal.
podcast. As
Yeah,
long as
like
it
I have
was,
fun.
Yeah.
To me, a podcast is just like me chatting with friends.
Yeah,
and it just
that's
winds
what we
up.
Yeah.
It just winds up being that way, and I just have long conversations. So
It's fine. That's what we do. So anyway, let's end this thing.
I mean, kind of went that way with the Heresy Brothers podcast I did a little bit ago.
kill it, Treebeard.
All right. We've been Hoof Hearted, and that smell has been hanging on your sheets so long that you can't wash it out. We'll catch you all later.